This is the Craig Bohl Football Show, presented by Gate City Bank.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. One step away. The North Dakota State football team is one step away from the two things every team strives for: an outright conference championship and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. It's all out there after a big Dakota marker win by the Bison. Here to discuss the situation, head coach Craig Bohl. And Coach, congratulations on the victory. This is always a big ball game.
Well, it certainly is. You know, you have two teams who and two institutions that linked arms several years ago to make this transition to Division I. The Dakota marker is a real prized possession. Our players recognize the importance of the ball game, not only getting that marker back, but conference implications and national implications. It was going to be a tough, hard-fought game, and it certainly was.
Short senior day, just 7 seniors out there, but there's some of these guys that have been through the battles, and that's always an emotional day too.
Well, it certainly is. You know, we have guys who've had a heck of a commitment, came to NDSU many years ago to have an opportunity to play for national championship. Last year they did. We're pleased with the leadership and putting us in position to win the conference outright.
Hey, let's take a look at this Dakota marker game against South Dakota State. Great atmosphere at Gate City Bank Field at the Fargo Dome. There you are, greeting the seniors, and we're going to start this thing off with a bang. Levon Perry nearly decapitates their great running back.
Well, here you can see Levon's acceleration and comes through right through the line and makes a great tackle for loss, and that sent a message right from the get-go saying, listen, this defense is going to be a force to be reckoned with today.
Now offensively, first of many quarterback keepers here, 17 yards for Brock.
You know what, we designed our game plan a little bit different. We felt comfortable with some of the quarterback runs that were going to be effective. If you don't show that a lot, Jeremy, that can be a very exciting running play.
Here's the speedster, Devion Dinwiddie.
Yeah, Devion has got an excellent speed, and we get a great block on the outside by Andrew Oakland, and you know, now we're deep in the Jackrabbits territory.
This opening drive continues. Sam O'Jury goes for 11 here.
Nice job by our offensive line coming up on the power play. You can see Andrew Oakland kicking out the defensive end and Sam fighting for every inch, and we get it all the way down to the 2.
I know you're disappointed about this. It's 1st and goal at the 3. You have to settle for the field goal.
Well, we're disappointed, but we're glad we got points, and did a nice job there with the snap and the kick, and we're up 3-0.
Now this defensive line, Levon Perry goes out with an injury, but look at Ryan Drevlo on this play.
Ryan Drevlo, the left defensive tackle here, just power rushes their guard right back into the quarterback and single-handedly takes the guard back and then makes a sack. A great effort from Ryan Drevlo out of Winter, North Dakota.
And here's Danny Lukey out of Fargo South, who had to come in for Levon.
Yeah, you know, another great job by Danny here, and a good job by us crushing the pocket all day long. That defensive front was a force to be reckoned with.
You said all week turnovers would be key. You almost have one here. You dodge a bullet.
Well, we're really, you know, always concerned about the turnover margin. In a game like this, it plays such a pivotal role. We were able to come up with a football, fortunately.
Now, SDSU does not dodge a bullet here. You get the takeaway.
Nice job by Carl Littlejohn coming up with the strip. Bobby Ullman comes up with the ball. The ball is deep in the Jackrabbits territory.
And I like Brent Vegan, and your coaching staff here goes right for the jugular. You go for the touchdown.
Well, really nice job on the play-action pass. Brock did a great job avoiding the rush there. Put the ball right on the money to Kevin Wadlin. Touchdown, 10-0.
Yeah, 10-0, so it's a great start. And Zach Zinner, this terrific running back, we talked about him all week. Nowhere to go early in the game for Zach.
We felt like it was really going to be important to make South Dakota State one-dimensional. Stop their running game, make them throw it, make them throw it in a hurry. That's the first point that you need to do, is take that running back out of the game.
Now they complete a pass here. They're forced to pass, but it's a 3 and out. They don't get enough. You
know, nice job by Kyle Manuel dropping into coverage there, and a good tackle. Kyle really has got the athleticism to play linebacker, so it's fortunate we're able to utilize him in coverage sometimes.
Again, the next series, another 3 and out, so the defense dialed in the first
Well, you can
half.
see we were able to take the runaway and get this quarterback on a scramble, and those 3 and outs are really critical.
They were playing well defensively. Also, they get a sack here on Brock.
You know what? This was really hurt because now we're deep in our territory down to the 5-yard line. That puts the field position in the Jackrabbits' advantage.
And that play changed the momentum a little bit. Mid-second quarter, SDSU putting a drive together here with a 13-yard pass.
You know, nice job of them protecting the quarterback and an under route by the receiver. Once again, they've got a good offense and very explosive as well.
And you knew Zinner would get some yards. He breaks a few tackles here.
Here, you know, we're disappointed that he did get some yards, but instead of going to 70 or 60 yards on a long run, We limited it. I think that was his longest run from the line of scrimmage.
C.J. Smith in coverage here, and they get a touchdown here, but it's just a great catch.
Well, you know, nice job of their quarterback putting the ball on the money where it had to be, and the receiver does a nice job. We get our defensive back turned around a little bit, and they come up with a touchdown. It's 10-7.
And now some real adversity on the ensuing kickoff here, a special teams error here.
Well, they did a nice job of pooch kicking and pinning us in the corner there, and you can see Ryan Smith got normally great ball security. The defender did a nice job, put his hat on the football, the ball came out, and the Jackrabbits had it.
The one good thing about this whole scenario, though, is you held him to a field goal.
That was a huge, huge deal. Our defense stood up there. I think we got gave up one first down, but that was a good thing that we only gave up 3 points.
So a wild into the first half. It's 10-10. Brock Jensen, 4 of 8. Samuel Jury has 42 yards already. The defense played very, very well. But we go to Sam O'Jury this week on the Bison Hot Seat. What is the most painful injury you've ever had?
I don't like concussions. Concussions are no fun.
Yeah, I agree with you. Do you prefer fruit or vegetables?
I'm a fruit guy.
What's more important to you, television or the internet?
Definitely the internet.
How about your favorite season of the year, spring, summer, fall, or winter?
Have to go with fall.
If you could have an endless supply of food, what would it be?
Probably Nigerian food, preferably mom's.
Okay. How many dates would you go on before you introduced that person to your parents?
I'll go on a solid 5 dates.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
What was your favorite cartoon as a kid?
I loved the Power Rangers when I was little.
If you owned a yacht, what would you name it?
Wonderland.
What's your worst personality trait?
I guess sometimes I do stuff without even noticing, so I don't know how you can explain that, but...
Okay. Kind of acting before you think sometimes?
Yeah.
Okay. If you could snap your fingers and appear somewhere else, where would it be?
Somewhere tropical. Probably like Fiji. Sounds like it. Cool.
Well, Coach, it's tied up at 10. I'm guessing there were a few adjustments made at halftime in this one.
There's always going to be adjustments. I think games change. We certainly needed to alter some things with our running game. And then defensively, you saw the one run pop, and we needed to change some things in the pass rush. Felt like that quarterback was going to start running. You'll see what we do in the second half here.
You know, I thought something interesting as we roll the second half here. SDSU won the toss. They took the ball to start the game, so the Bison get the ball to start the second half. But it was tough sledding here early on in the third quarter as they get a sack here.
Well, typically, you know, by this time, we've kind of got their defense figured out, but it was disappointing here. Brock's making a wise decision, not throwing the ball up for grabs. We're disappointed we got the sack, but you know what? A punt is not always a bad thing.
The Bison D was dialed in. Sumner forced to throw it away here.
Here you can see a nice job by our coverage, actually, and he felt some duress, threw the ball away, and good job by our defense.
So after the punt, I thought a huge, huge play here. Design keeper, it goes for 56 yards, flip that field around.
Well, this was a big, big play. It's something we hadn't shown, and they don't have enough guys to stop this play, and Brock's got good speed, and you can see we flipped the field over. We were pinned deep in our territory. Now we've got the ball on their side of the 50.
You've thrown some option plays in of late as well. We'll see one of those here where Brock keeps it.
Yeah, nice job by Brock and good job by the offense coming up. And Brock, that was a 4th down play, I believe, or 3rd down and short, and came up with the first down. It's a big, big play. You
get 3 points out of this drive. Very important to, again, take the lead here.
Yeah, it was important to reestablish our momentum and take the lead. Now we're up by a field goal.
They virtually did nothing offensively in the third quarter. We're going to see a couple of sacks in succession here. The first one is Grant Olson.
Really nice job by Grant coming up and playing off his blocker, and a good job by the defensive line. Once again, good coverage, and then closing the pocket down.
A spy play coming up by Mike Hardy here out in the flat. He's going to get a tackle for a loss of virtually a sack.
Well, here you can see some of the adjustments we talked about, and Mike did a nice job. That was predetermined, and it was a good job by Mike.
So back on offense here, the Bison starting to roll now. However, some adversity here as you do get an interception.
Well, you know, they work on their coverage too. You know, a fairly good throw, but the defensive back made a nice play. There was old Zach Raw hanging on for dear life, and by the time he released and the cavalry was there enough to come up, you can see Billy Turner comes up with a big tackle.
Yeah, it's a good thing he held him up a little bit there. Hey, now the defense stepped up, though. 3rd and 8, they only get 4.
Well, this was huge for us because at this time of the game, you know, momentum has changed. You can see old Beck just running as fast as he can. That's great effort and great speed. Otherwise, quarterback would have gotten the first down.
Another situation here where Brock gets sacked. Almost drew him off sides here, but he does get sacked here.
Well, a good job by their defensive end, number 34, with the inside counter move. And disappointing, but like I said, they've got a good defense as well, Jeremy.
The team's traded sacks here. Now Cole Jurek makes a very nice play here.
You can see him running the edge and hugging the corner, and came up with another sack. And he stripped the ball away. Unfortunately, it was on the ground.
You know, Brock really has some toughness in the running game. He gets some tough yards here, breaks tackles, almost looks like a running back.
Well, he does a nice job, and we talked to him at the beginning of the game saying, hey, we need to pull out all the stops to come up with a win.
2nd and 2 here. Samuel Jury gets 3. You're starting to move the chains now.
You know, when our offensive line is starting to impose our will on them, and Sam does a nice job moving the chains, coming up with a first down.
Big play. South Dakota State gets a stop on 3rd down. However, roughing the passer gives you a first down here.
You know, the official's going to make sure that that quarterback, he's unprotected when he's releasing the football, and that had a big impact in this drive.
3rd and 7. Brock's going to get 4 here. Sets up an interesting situation, a 4th and 3. And they get 12 men in the huddle. Coach makes it 4th and 1, and you're going to end up going for it here. This is an important sequence here.
Well, it was, you know, it was kind of like, do we want the points before? And I said, let's take the points. They put 12 guys out there. They can't do that. We went for it on 4th and short and came up with a big touchdown.
Even if they don't get it there, they have a long field. That's the benefit.
Well, that certainly is. But as you can see on this drive, South Dakota State, they've got, you know, some good players. And, you know, against Southern Illinois, they came back with a lot of adversity, and they marched the ball right down the field here and come up with a touchdown. Yeah,
they went to Rollins for 21. That's Cool for 10. Back to Rollins again for 20 here, so they are in position to score.
They certainly are. That was a nice throw. Really, they're executing very well at this time. We're getting tired on defense, and you can see they come up with a touchdown here.
3-yard touchdown pass, so now it's 20-17. They're out of timeouts, though. The clock's against them. There's about a minute left in the game, so it comes down to an onside kick.
And we knew that. We had called timeout right before, saw where they were going to line up, and then put our onside team out there. And you can see Brock Jensen, our quarterback, he put some gloves on, went out there and played the old catcher mitts. Big catch for the day.
That marker's important. Look at these guys.
Oh, it certainly is. We're really pleased and happy to have it, Jeremy.
20-17, big win for the Bison. Jensen 11 of 18, 80 yards. O'Jury 75 yards on the ground. Ben LeCompte had a nice day punting the football. Let's hear what the players had to say after the game.
Our first goal of the season was win the conference, because you got to win the conference, get in the playoffs, and it's nice to check that off here this week. We still got to win next week to get the outright title, but it's nice to get Coach Standard, Dre, and the freshmen in the championship room now, so it's good for those guys to get a championship and good for the team.
You know, we found a way to get it done. We did. You know, we stayed together. Our defense obviously kept us in the game like they do all season, every game. And, you know, our offense, whether it's, you know, running the football like we did today or being able to throw the football, we'll find a way to get it done. And that's give credit to Coach Vegan for feeling, you know, what plays to call and for us to, you know, grind it out on the ground like that. It was really good.
Great comments by the players there. Time for the Nodak Mutual Insurance Player of the Game. Defensive leader Grant Olson recorded 8 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks. Grant has developed into arguably the best linebacker in the Missouri Valley. One of the things that makes him great, he is all about perfection, and he is never satisfied.
Yeah, you know, I thought we had a really good game plan going in, stopping the runs. One of the things that we preach on defense, we have a very good defensive line that allows us to do that. Coaches had a good game plan, and they really prepared us very well. I thought we came out and executed. Could have done a little better on some things, but, you know, he's a good player, and he gave us some challenges, but it was a lot of fun.
And through his comments there, Coach, you understand that he is a perfectionist, isn't he? And he's never satisfied, and that's a good thing.
Well, that's a good thing. And, you know, first of all, I'd like to acknowledge, too, Nodak. They've been a great sponsor.
Yeah.
But their main guy, Jim Alexander, went out and failed with the coin toss. We lost it there. So, Jim, you're fired, all right?
He Donald Trumped him just like we did Steve Swantek, yeah. Levon Perry, now this is a situation that's moving forward is going to be a concern, isn't it? He was injured in this ball game, could not return in the second half. We're going to see the play right here that he was injured on as well, and it's tough to watch on the left-hand side of your screen here.
Well, it's disappointing here. You can see how the offensive guy comes back. You're slowing it down, and comes back and goes down low, and really that's a needless block that plays over, and it's disappointing because I don't know how long Levon's going to be out. I doubt very much that he'll be able to play this next week and how long. he's out, we certainly don't know.
Now this is going to result in an MRI, assuming probably Sunday or Monday, huh?
Yeah, I think we're going to get the MRI, the results later on today, so we'll know a little bit more where we're at with Levon. We're hoping for the best.
We want to talk about the quarterback keepers now. This was obviously in the game plan for this ball game. Brock executed it very well, and talk about the thought process on to put so many of these in this particular ball game.
Well, how South Dakota State was deploying their defenders, we felt very comfortable that there was going to be some running lanes. And you can't run your quarterback a whole lot, but if you pick your times, it can be very effective. And here you can see Brock. He's a big, strong guy that is very determined, and whether it's with his arms or with his legs, we're going to utilize those plays. And Brent Vegan did a great job of dialing those plays up over and over to keep our offense on the field versus a very stingy South Dakota State defense.
And it can be a momentum changer like this play right here was.
Well, if you remember the Georgia Southern game last year and this play here, those are two key plays in flipping the field over.
Well, I'm sure during the week you looked at this Zach Zinner on tape and you, wow, this kid's a very impressive runner. Talk about the week and the game plan defensively going in to try and stop him.
Well, for us on defense, it's really critical that we have gap control, make sure that it's not a one-on-one situation. We have good pursuit angles, and you can see our defensive line here getting great penetration right from the start. Levon Perry was very active, and then all during the course of this game, you can see our defensive guys very disciplined, being where they're supposed to be, and we held I think one of the top rushers in the country in check.
Yeah, that was a great job by the defense. He only had 43 yards on 14 carries, 3.1 yards a carry. Terrific job by the NDSU defense. And on that NDSU defense this year, a new assistant coach, Steve Stannard. We're going to talk about this guy. He's really adding a lot to the top defense in the country. Stay with us. Welcome back to the show. In need of an assistant coach this offseason, the Bison hit another home run, bringing in Steve Stannard. He is experienced, likable, and adds a lot to the best defense in the country. Jamal Spencer found out this week that a long-standing bond is what ultimately brought him to Fargo.
Steve Stannard faced what seemed to be a difficult challenge when arriving at NDSU this spring. He was the new guy on a staff filled with continuity.
Because of the success they've had, everybody is on the same page, and there's no hidden agendas. Everybody just wants to win, and that makes it a lot easier when you're coming in, into a new situation.
When former defensive coordinator and linebackers coach Scotty Hazelton took a job at USC, the Bison promoted secondary coach Chris Kleiman to run the defense. And when the Bison called on Stannard to become their new linebackers coach, he accepted quickly because of one main reason.
Well, I'll be honest, Coach Bohl. Coach Bohl and I go back a long ways as far as he was a graduate assistant when I was a player being recruited. And so we've known each other a long time. We've never worked together. So he says, Steve, we really have something special going on up here in North Dakota State. He says, I think you should come up and take a look at it.
Stannard has 18 years of defensive coordinator experience, but says he's always been a front seven guy, a coach who specializes in defensive linemen and linebackers. And it's his personality that his players have come to enjoy.
Well, Coach Stannard's just a lot of fun to be around. He's always got something to say. He's always got a joke, a story to tell us. So enjoy that a lot. He definitely knows what he's talking about. He's definitely taught me a lot of things about football and helped me grow a lot as a player.
Yeah, he's always talking about take your game to the next step, next level. He's always pushing us guys, and there's a lot of similarities between him and Coach Hayes, and some differences, a lot of similarities. They're both great coaches, and we learn a lot from both of them.
The newest member of the NDSU football coaching staff says that his current linebacker group is the best he's ever coached. High praise for someone who's been at it for 22 years. For the Craig Bohl Football Show, I'm Jamal Spencer.
Coach, this is a solid guy that brings a lot of experience as a position coach. Very valuable, isn't he?
Well, he certainly is, and he doesn't have a big ego. He's a team player, and so what we have within that room, whether it be A.J. Cooper or Nick Gazer or Chris Kleiman or Steve Stannard, you've got guys that are pitching in. Now, Steve has been a coordinator at 3 other schools, so brings a great deal of experience, a great deal of energy, and he has added an awful lot, and we're really pleased to have him.
Still to come, another young defender is emerging on that scout team. We will take a look at him in our future crop of Bison, brought to you by Peterson Farm Seed. We'll also take a look at a game for all the marbles next week at Illinois State. Stay with us. The defense for the Bison is as good as it gets right now, but as we have been describing each week in our Peterson Farm Seed future crop of Bison, the elite defensive play is not going to stop anytime soon. This week it's Arizona safety Marcus Brantley, who is having a very good year on the scout team. Listen to this kid's high school stats: 10 interceptions, 4 of which he took back for touchdowns, nearly 200 tackles over his junior and senior year. But even he agrees he has gotten better in his redshirt year.
Coming in, I thought I knew everything there was to know about my position, but you really don't. You learn so much, especially coming here in North Dakota State, and yeah, it's just a big learning process. I've learned a lot.
Marcus Brantley has a nice future. Let's move ahead, Coach, because we have a big week here. Let's look at the standings, and it's all teed up for the Bison right now. Win at Illinois State, you have that outright conference championship, the automatic qualifier, home field throughout the playoffs, but it is not going to be an easy task in Bloomington.
No, it's going to be a challenge. Illinois State is a very good football team. They're well coached. They've got good athletes. We've had a hard time playing down there in the past, and they've had an open week getting ready for us. And so some of the things certainly are in their favor. We're playing well right now. You always say take it one game at a time. We're down to our last game. Need to have a great week of practice and hop on that plane to go down there and get a victory.
How about week 11 with everything on the line here? Do your players relish this as coaches? This is what you play the game for.
Well, you've got to get in the moment and recognize that you've come the long way to get to where we're at. But now we've got to bring it home, and that's going to come about with a great deal of effort. Guys are banged up, they're tired, but it's football. Now you strap it up and go out there and get that next win.
We've got you covered, too. Statewide NBC for this monstrous game for the conference championship. We've also added ESPN3 for those of you outside the area. It's going to be a big, big ball game. And kudos to those tailgaters this past weekend. It was ugly weather out there, but they were out there anyway. And we'll show you a few of those as we say goodbye. Have a good week.
Over